process do what it needs to do.
Okay,
The levy has already said that once the plans go,
forget it, Michael.
They have to go through the city process.
Why
Let
would
the
we want it to
process
be so
work.
confrontational?
Because they've already started.
Because they started it that way.
Okay. Would you allow me to? We want me to do
Yes, please.
first off. So, I mean, I'm sorry that you did not a confrontation with PSR at this school. We are really happy to have the GTU and all of the other institutions of Holy Hill, the member institutions of GTU, as members of our community. We value all of the students who come in, the students, the priests, the nuns who come into this community.
How do you show that you value it? How do you demonstrate?
Let me ask. I hear the invitation for further conversation, and certainly, again, I don't think the legal process, or not legal process, maybe we want to call it.
There's a zoning process.
Review process. That's what the community conversation will be about. It needs not be confrontational. I can say that it is difficult to respond sometimes. The pictures I have seen, I'm not sure if these are the ones I have seen them. The images I have seen of the project on posters by Save Holy Hill include large red blocky buildings that seem to want to convey pretty pejorative what the project is about. So it is difficult to feel and to hear your invitation is really that open, but that we can continue to work towards. The entitlements process will create an opportunity for community conversations. This is the second time when we have tried to have a conversation within our student body to understand the project, where you are welcome to come and be a part of it. But please do know that it feels like it's getting hijacked each time. So I appreciate you being attentive tonight and listening and engaging. Maybe you're not feeling that we're providing enough spaces for your voices to be heard. We will continue to do that because the process will happen. We are waiting for the city to respond to the proposal, so that we know what we should be discussing. At this point, it is really difficult for us to discuss the design or the plans because we don't know if the city, the questions you're raising about Ridgeway's legal way, about height and zoning, those are not conversations we should have over coffee and tea together. Those are conversations we should have with people who can look at the blueprints when the city has made a determination about it, and then we have a conversation. That's not because we want to be antagonistic. It's just that it's really difficult to talk because somebody says this is an easement and it's not ours. On our property for years, we've had this plaque that says this is private property. It's on there. It's been there for years. So that may be a misstatement. It may be a confusion. That should be cleared up by the city as they currently are reviewing the process. For us to have that conversation here becomes that he says, she says, I can't. It's not that I don't want to have that conversation. It's just I know what I know from what the city, what our legal documents say. And the city is reviewing them. And once that's happened, we will have a series of community meetings, I'm sure, that are part of that entitlements process, as you've indicated that every city has. So we will definitely look forward to that participation. Beyond that, we could have more of just a conversation to get to know each other, to try to change some of the energy. We're glad, and so we'll look at that, maybe host a more festive event together to celebrate the space. We are definitely, I'm hearing that, we will seek to do that. We will try to do it.
Can I just say one thing? I would love to invite you all over for dinner. At our house, we're like a block away.
Okay, there's 130 students, and I think I love it.
I don't know, whatever number of people. I would love to have you all over for dinner. We'll cook and we'll actually get to know each other as human beings.
That sounds like a great plan. So
can you? I don't know how to proceed with this. I feel like every time we try to get engaged, you say we're hijacking and so forth. Please let us try to engage you in a humane way.
So two ways we can continue this conversation. One will be to have a more informal conversation at some point that is just to get to know each other, where we don't discuss necessarily the details. I'm glad to do that as long as we don't try to discuss whether Ridgeway is a right okay, whether we're violating zoning. Again, not because I don't want to have those conversations. It's just I can't have them just on he said, she said. So I'm glad for just an engagement about let's get to know each other. I'm completely agree to that. I tell you, my goal here is not at all to undermine this community, to in any way destroy it, or as we discussed before, I am trying to save Holy Hill. Okay, so please know, the first thing is our institutions, all of them, like any higher education institution, it's right now on the threat of its very existence. Okay, we have sold this property already to Mather LifeWays. Okay, it is a done agreement. Again, Drew, please be respectful of the fact that.
Let's be honest, it's an option.
Drew, we have already sold the property to them, and the agreement is binding to us. This is not going anywhere beyond that. If, for whatever reason, the option is to Mather to decide about their purchase, but it is a binding agreement. If Mather doesn't end up being the one who got this property, we are selling this property regardless. Sure. We can no longer contain this property. There may be other plans. So the best option would be we have sought intentionally, in order to save Holy Hill, to create a space that would bring new neighbors here, that would create more housing, which is desperately needed in our area, that would create housing for older adults, most of whom, the people I have seen opposing a lot of these projects, are folks who actually we are trying to serve in a community in Berkeley, as one of the people who wrote to us, who's a gerontologist in Berkeley, said. In the 1960s, Berkeley was one of the most progressive cities in creating space for the people with disabilities, putting in cut curves, doing all this stuff.
I'm a member of that community.
Since then, Berkeley has done almost nothing to either improve the lives and services and spaces for people with disabilities in this area, and certainly has done nothing to build housing for older adults since the 1960s. We feel committed to a vision that we feel will contribute to this community. Change is hard. It is difficult sometimes to engage the conversation because I, for example, know that there's already opposition to one of our sister schools, PLTS, selling their property as well. They have to sell to stay around. There's no question about it. That sale is being opposed as well. So it is difficult to feel that we have much, that we can respond in a gracious way because we feel pressed against the wall. We are financially in need of making this decision, and we could simply have sold it to whoever would buy. The suggestion's been made that we should sell individual properties to individual people. That could happen, and it might preserve those buildings. If somebody with $1 million buys one of the properties, has another $1 million to fix it up. The only thing is that what they will do, if you buy a house for $1 million or one of these apartment buildings, and you invest $1 million to fix it, you're likely to sell those apartments or rent them out for pretty much the same price that people have concerns the property here will be sold for. In fact, by creating more spaces, it is more likely that the price will be within reach for more people rather than selling them only individually. That's a choice we have made, that we want to be able to create space for others. So that's our intent. So I'll follow up with you.
I'll send you an email.
Please do, President at PSR. I'd love to come over, sit down and have dinner. Let's have just a conversation first that maybe we try our best not to deal with the details. Once we know each other a little better, our passions and commitments, we can complain about the current election, which I would imagine we have some in common with.
Well, maybe we should do that. Maybe we should come over and we have a vow not to talk about PSR.
That sounds like a plan.
And we just have we have a whole dinner together and have a glass of wine or two.
Great.
And then we say goodbye for the evening without even mentioning the whole thing. So actually get to know each other as people.
Yeah.
That
I'll
means,
send you an email.
does that mean the students are disinvited?
No, I'm sorry. I would love to have. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to disinvite you. I thought David thought maybe we should start with just with him. I don't. I thought we did this. I'm so sorry. Let's.
Tell me
your name. I'm sorry. The woman there who is the lawyer. Your name?
Farinwa. That's good enough.
Marine what?
Farinwa.
Marine okay, sorry.
Yes,
We invited over for dinner too. My wife is gonna kill me for. You didn't ask me first.
Yeah.
You can do the cooking.
Right.
Well,
I need to.
I can volunteer, but I'm not good.
Okay. I've been at work since 7 this morning, so I need to get home to my children. But it's been great to have a conversation. Again, I want to appreciate your presence. I want to appreciate particularly your respect for the fact that we started out with questions from our students and alumni. Thank you for that. Please do know we are seeking intentionally to find a way that, as the phrase goes right now, save Holy Hill. Please know this is not exaggeration. This is not fear-mongering. The future of theological education is extremely risky. Since I became president 18 months ago, 6 seminaries have closed. Okay? One of our schools here has left already. The likelihood of the future of theological education is very uncertain. Now, that means we have the responsibility to use the facilities, the resources we have to pursue a mission after the election this week we feel even more committed to. We want to do that in a way, and we have sought to, please know the intent has been, to do it in a way that serves our broader community. And we have felt creating a residential community for all the adults is one of the many important things that could be done with this property. That's the one we have felt compelled by because it has synergy to who we are. It helps us fulfill our mission.